Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaRachakodash, saying double honors to our apostles and elders, Harry Great Millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So to follow in the same spirit as the lesson before, because I recall to mind that not that long ago, Priest Daniel Allah, now this brother's been in the truth for quite some time now, over 20, probably over 15 for sure. And even he, not that long ago, was asked by Saul Netta once again and somebody else about women in a position of leadership. And to no surprise, he still pushes women are able to be in positions of leadership. Now, the reason it's a shame is because of how long he's been in the truth, who he's been around, and yet he still speaks that message. And the issue with Israel that was always there was the Queen of Heaven spirit that's found amongst the men. And even because they say that they're Israelites, or even they call themselves in the truth, they still have this weakness for men, and this shaping them is preventing them from speaking the truth and standing on two toes and speaking the truth according to the scriptures, because of pandering and because of fear of upsetting women or upsetting men who put women on a pedestal. And like I said, when you hear these doctrines, right, people who decide to make their personal preference into a doctrine, and say that it's a law, you're going off. And that's no different either. You want to make a woman equal to a man, so you're changing the doctrine to make that okay because that's what you want. You want a woman to be equal to a man. You're going off. When the Israelite groups say that a man can only have one wife, and that's what makes you a real man, and if you deal with another woman, you committed a sin. Even if she was single and you committed a sin, right? They're making their personal preference into law and the doctrine, and that's where you're going off, because according to the scriptures, you are now adding to the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and you are taking away from the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that spirit of being weak for women. Now, listen, as a man, all of us, we all go through like a phase, especially growing up, where we let these women run circles around us, right? Some have even taken us around the block and back again until we realize their nature. And then as a man, you develop and you say, okay, no more, or is enough's enough. That's all of us. That's part of maturing and developing as a man. And eventually, when you come into this truth, you indeed are supposed to still stand on your two toes as a man and speak that which is right. But as you can see, some men still have that weakness over these women, and they allow them to teach doctrines and try to change laws to appease them. And that's where the sin comes in. So for you to say it's okay for women to be leaderships and all that, you're again we this late in the game, and you still have men who have this weakness for women that's preventing them from speaking the truth of the Bible, because they fear them. They don't fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And and you learn from our ancestors, okay, our forefathers, who also did the same thing, and it never turns out well for these people. Whenever our people want to put a woman on a pedestal and put her higher than what she deserves to be and try to pander to them, it never works out for any of them at all. And part of developing as a man is that you understand the nature of a woman. See, that like a woman, she's going to, if you want to take a woman as your wife, she's going to do certain things on purpose to test you, to really, what she's trying to see is if you are going to put her in her place. She's trying to see if you are a man where she's able to run over you All of them are going to do that. And your job as a man, when that happens, is you have to check that. Because that's what they're just going to do. It's their nature. A lot of them, they don't even think. They just do it. And if you allow your woman, if your woman knows that she can run all over you, she's going to lose respect for you. So all those Israelites that want to push and change the doctrine to try to make women happy, right? What they don't realize is that if their woman sees that they can run over them and they will bend to their will no matter what, they will run circles around you and they will lose respect for you. So the point is, it doesn't work out at all when you decide to try to put your love interest, your preference, and try to put the creature who was created for you above you or equal or on terms with you, and think that that is going to make you successful. That's going to have you have a successful marriage. That's going to have you have a successful business because you know you're going to make a lot of money, etc. In the long run, it never works out. Now, Proverbs 31, this is a woman speaking because she understands the nature of women, right? The dynamic between a man and a woman. Proverbs 31, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Now, this is what you call a real woman. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Now, a real woman like her is going to tell her son what to look out for. And she told him, do not give your strength to women. Do not put a woman above you, because a woman will destroy you. A women have overthrown kingdoms. Learn from Ahab, one of the biggest, what we call simps in Israel. That whole northern kingdom was suffering all kind of hell under his rule because they were saying, man, we catching all kind of hell because this dude Ahab is simping over that damn Sidonian woman. He won't put her in their place. Really need to put her to death because she got prophets killed. So we like, look, she killing prophets, and that's all because this dude won't really be a man and put this woman in her place. This woman is telling her son, you don't make those mistakes. You need to stand on your 2 toes, understand that you are a man, you are the leader. Do not let these women run you, because they will run circles around you. So when these Israelites groups teach these doctrines about a man can only have one wife, what you're doing is you're making the woman equal to the man. Women will create. Let's just go to it. It all boils down to, now you could be a simp you want. You can elevate your woman. You do whatever you want. When it comes to teaching the scriptures or teaching the truth, that's where you go off. You'll never get rid of the Queen of Heaven simp spirit in the earth, in Israel, let alone, how should I say, in Israel, let alone the earth. It's always going to be there. But if you call yourself a leader of the scriptures, you're going off when you let that take the forefront, right? That's 1 Corinthians chapter 11, to go to the point, verse 8. For the woman is not of the man, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So the woman was created for the man. When you say that a man can only have one wife, and if he goes and really gets him another woman, he's committing a sin against his wife, you're saying that the man is now equal to the woman. You're saying that they're equal. Because you're saying that, man, look, brother, you are bound to that wife. You can only have her and only her. And if you go get you another one, you sinned against her. You just added that in the scriptures. You making the man a woman, because that's according to the scriptures. The scriptures tell you that a woman is bound to that man as long as he's alive. It don't say he's bound to her as long as she's alive, right? It don't say that man can't go and get another woman because his wife is still alive, so he's bound to that one woman. No, it's saying he can go and get another wife. It's saying she can't go and get another husband as long as that man is still alive. See, you don't say the reverse. You wanted to say the reverse. You're adding. And you're making the woman equal to the man when we're not equal. As Romans 7 says, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, for how that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. It doesn't say it's the reverse. It doesn't say the man is bound by the law to his wife, and he can't take him another wife because she's still alive. No, it says she can't go and be another man's wife because her one husband is alive. A woman is supposed to have one husband her entire life. It didn't say a man is supposed to have one wife his entire life. You're putting the man in the position of a woman. The woman was created for the man, not man the woman. But you see, that's where these guys have lost their balls. You know, going back to the point when you develop as a man, when you let these women, you know, we all do stupid things. To this day, we still do stupid things for women. We know it. We do stupid things. But back then, you probably did a lot of dumb things. And then eventually you find your nuts again. And you say, okay, now I know the deal. So now, the hell with this. I'm drawing the line right here. Why? Because if you don't, and you have to understand that, because if you don't, women naturally will run you. They're going to do that naturally. The man has to go through the depths, right, of being low, being used and abused, to understand, okay, now I know what it means. Now I know how it is to deal with these women. Now I know what their nature is. Now I know what's required of me. I can't let these women run circles around me. You found your nuts again. Right? So if you go on, it says, so then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. You see, it doesn't say the opposite. It doesn't say, now if a man has a wife and he deals with another woman who's not married, he shall be called an adulterer, because that's not the case. Women were created for man, not man to woman. So when you try to teach a law, that's an IUIC, a man can only have one wife, and if you break that, and if you have more than one wife, you broke the law. There's videos of them on camera of a man walking with his two wives, and they're trying to break that up. They're saying you're sinning. So they're trying to make the man equal to the woman. When they teach that, they're emasculating the man. They're clipping their nuts because they don't have their own fucking nuts. They don't have their own balls. And we're this late in the game, and you still have these men pussifying other men and trying to put bounds on them, and teaching their man, look, man, you are bound to your wife. You're telling the man that they're the fucking woman, when that's not the case. The scripture says a woman is bound to her husband as long as while he liveth. It don't say the reverse. His job is to provide, provision, etc. He can go and get him another wife. The scriptures don't tell you he committed adultery by going to get another wife, but it says she is bound by the law as long as her husband living, and she will commit adultery if she go be another man's, not the vice versa. You putting the man in the woman's seat. That's why the scripture says women are strong. Women are the ones that's influencing these, and this is never going to go away until we get in the kingdom. But it's a damn shame that we're this close to the end, and yet these men will still sit up here. And women can be in leadership positions. Yeah, that's no problem. Leadership position. Yeah, they're just, so you're saying they're equal. Well, when you read 2 Maccabees, when we got ransacked by the Greeks, as in 2 Maccabees chapter 6, it says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of the mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riot and revelings by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. So here's the question. To defile what we had sacred and holy, what did they do? They brought women in there. They brought women in the holy places because they weren't supposed to be there. The holy places was for Aaron's sons and the priests, the high priests. So to defile it, which were men, to defile it, they brought women in there. But wait a minute, if men and women are equal and women can be in leadership positions, how is it considered defile if you put women in there? Because women didn't belong in there. That job was for Aaron's sons, his descendants, and the chief and the high priest, which were men. Not no woman, men. But and besides that, brought in things that were not unlawful. So they completely defiled it. And putting women in there is part of why they defiled it. And another thing, how come when we went to war, if women could be leaders, why weren't women in fighting in wars? Because our kings went to war. The kings were there on the battleground in war. Where were the women at? They didn't, because they're not in that position. They weren't created to go to war. They weren't created to be in a leadership position, leading the nation. That's not the case. Why weren't they at war? When we gathered the people to go to war, how many were women? None of them were women. How many women did Yahushua call to walk with them? How many of the 12 disciples were women? None of them. And it's amazing that you still would have these men that would say these things. It's because they don't have their balls, man. When you try to teach a law to make the creature who was created for Adam, you're making change the law to basically say Adam was created for Eve, when it's not the case. That's a woman's doctrine. That's a woman's teaching. A woman is gonna say those things. That's how you know it's women. That's why the scripture says women are strong. Right? Women have that power over us, even in the truth. But you're supposed to, when you come into the truth and the knowledge, you're supposed to find your balls, man, and tell the truth for what it is. You don't teach that madness. That's what women teach. I think a man can only have one wife, and you gotta legally marry me, and that's what makes a real man. A real man is just a man that just has one wife who he legally marries. Yep, sister. Yep. You right. And that's the doctrine we gonna teach. Yep. So you ain't real man unless you got one wife and you gotta legally marry her. Otherwise, you ain't serious. And if you ain't, you breaking the law. Pussies. Find your fucking balls. Teach the truth. We are too late in the game for you to still have that Queen of Heaven worshiping spirit. It never works out for anybody when they pussify themselves for women. It never works out. And women don't respect you. That's what these men don't get. They think that if they give the woman the world and they obey her every command, they don't understand the nature of a woman. When they get with you, they're going to is inherent. They're going to slowly chip away at you to see how much they can get away with. They will cry, stump, scream to get their way, just to see if you're going to bend to their will. And the men that they respect are the ones that they know they can't run circles around. That's what these men don't get. It never works out for those simps in the long, ever. It didn't work out for Ahab. It didn't work out. What's that guy who was married to Megan Good? And he's a Christian pastor. And he's talking about how Eve was good. Adam was saying that same doctrine. Adam was created for Eve, basically. Eve was good. Eve didn't need Adam. He did all that simp shit. Married Megan Good. What happened? She divorced his ass. Steve Harvey, the biggest simp out there, saying everything under the sun to make women happy just to keep his pockets fat. Even his wife stepped out on him because they don't respect men like that. The scripture says, was written aforetime is written for our learning. No man in the scriptures who ever elevated the woman above her position and put her in the equal stead has anything good to say about them. None of them ever prospered. And when you come into this truth, you're supposed to find your nuts again, man. We all go through the ups and downs, but when it comes to the truth, you have to speak through the truth. We know what our weaknesses are. But we this late in the game, you've been in the truth 15 plus years. You known by this elder, that elder, this apostle, that apostle, and you still say, yeah, women leadership, and all that, because you're still pandering and you're too afraid to step to other men who want to put women on the pedestal and tell them to put them in their place. Look, brother, it's the scriptures. We ain't equal. Women's supposed to take the back seat. They ain't supposed to be in no leadership position. It is what it is. And I could tell you, since I've been in the truth, this year makes 13 years for me. I've seen all the Israelite groups and these leaders and these other who want to say unity camps, bring the women on up in there, we put women leaderships, pandering to the women, the sisters and the neighborhoods, and we got communities, all of them. I've watched all of them, and they all had their women either leave them or they got into some problems over a woman. All of them, none of them are in a good position where they haven't had their woman left them, right? Or talk madness to them. Some madness. Why? Because they still think we can sit down with the sisters and come over to the equal discussion. We can, man, you just teach the truth. That's it. Okay? And that's why the apostles, elders, great millstone, do you ever hear any madness that goes on? Because they just keep it 100. They've seen it, they've seen the outcome, and they said, look, okay, no more women in the school. That's how it was back at the old school. And then the apostles are happy because, why? Because they're like, yes, finally, somebody had to say it. Somebody had to have the balls to say, look, we got to put an end to this madness. No more women in the school. There was other apostles of the heart that said that back at the old school. It doesn't work out when you try to make a woman equal to you, or even worse, when you try to teach a doctrine that basically you're saying that the man was created for the woman and that the man is bound by law to his one wife. He can't do nothing else because he's bound by her. You're making the man a woman. You're emasculating the man because you yourself are pussified. You're not a man. You are not a man to say those things. You're weak. It's weak. For fuck's sake, find your balls, man. Just speak the truth. Okay, you just want to have one wife. Okay, that's honorable, but you don't teach other men and make them feel less than because they don't want to be one. They don't want to just be all googly eyed and drooling their mouths over their one wife, and they believe, okay, now my whole life I'm dedicated to this one woman and I'm bound by the law to this one woman, and that's it. I can't step out on her. And so you basically saying she run to you and I got to go get legally married because otherwise I ain't for real. You talking exactly like a woman wants you to speak. That's why the scripture says women are strong. Many have gone out of their wits for women, and it never works out for any of those men when they put a woman higher than what they are. It doesn't work out for any of them. Isaiah 46:8. Remember this and show yourselves men. This is the Most High speaking. Remember this and show yourselves men. Be a man. Teach the truth. Somebody, what do you think about women leadership positions? No, according to the scriptures, we got history on what happens when you try to put a woman above where she is. According to the scriptures, men are supposed to be in the leadership positions. Women support behind the scenes. Women lead to chaos, bring chaos. And I'm telling you, women are relying, even your wives, they're relying on the man. They're relying on you to not allow them to run you. They will lose respect for you if they know subconsciously, I can cry, stomp, scream, I can throw all this hissy fit to get him to do what I want to do. And once your woman loses respect for you, it's only downhill from there. So as a man, even when you teach your sons, you gotta say, look, as a man, son, you gotta stand on your two toes. You gotta stand on your 2 feet. You got all you got in this world is your word and your purpose. You have to stand on that. You have to run your household the way you want it. You can't let her run you. She's gonna run it directly to the fucking ground. Women overthrow kingdoms. And a real woman would tell her son that. And say, look, son, you can't let these women, because they will run circles around you. They will bring you to even the scripture says, a piece of bread. Okay, I spelled that wrong. It says Proverbs 6:26. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. These women will bring you to nothing if you let them. So what makes you think you are bound to listen to them and only them, and they're over you or they're equal to you? That's madness. And it never works out for these guys. They always end up being left. All the women leave them because they don't respect no man like that. They take the thrill of it, just knowing like, yeah, I can control him and all this stuff. But long term wise, when they're thinking about survival, they really don't respect no man like that. So they're gonna go and hop on somebody else's ride and divorce you. Show me a man on the earth today who's been a successful simp, and his woman does everything he wish. He's the happiest man alive. You're not gonna see it. Read it again, Isaiah 46:8. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. In the Hebrew, show yourselves men. Well, actually, the phrase there, the wording there is Wahath Ashashawa. The word itself, Ayash, which is talking about man. It says, to be a man, show masculinity. Show masculinity, champion, great man. And all the great men in the scriptures, they didn't let no woman run them. They didn't elevate no woman above than what she is. The only woman you're supposed to simp for is wisdom. And really you can't even simp for wisdom, because the word simp means to elevate a woman above what she is. Wisdom is you can never elevate her more enough, but it's understood. If I say, you simp for women, it's understood by people what I mean. As the scripture says, you want to put yourself under her bondage, under her yoke. Okay. King Solomon already had it all. He had already seen it all. The only one woman he exalts above all women is wisdom. He said, out of 1,000, I have found none. All right. Sirach chapter 4. Okay. We'll go to the point. Yes, Sirach 6:23. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel, and put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Talking about wisdom. Be a fool for wisdom's sake. Be a simp for wisdom's sake. And she's gonna exalt you and bless you as her children. Make her your wife, make her your sister. Right? As the scripture says. The woman which was created for man, you cannot elevate them above than what they are. All right, they're going to naturally try to put themselves in that position, and it's a man's job, especially in leadership, to maintain the order. And the more you keep teaching this confusion, the more there's just going to be confusion, because you're basically having the creatures out of order. You're making Adam the woman. You're clipping Adam's nuts. You're clipping your man's nuts over there by teaching that doctrine, actually shaming men and even penalizing men for going to get him another side piece. You making him a woman, you know? It's turning him to a straight pussy, pussyfying him, all because you pussy whipped. And what these guys don't understand, as much as they want to do that, elevate these women, you're going to see in the long run, it does not work out. It doesn't work out. The Queen of Heaven's spirit will only lead our people constantly into detriment. And then they'll be sitting there wondering, I don't know what happened. I gave her everything she ever wanted, and this and this and that, and this and this and that. Well, do you understand the nature of a woman? Do you understand your job? Okay. So that's it, man. You know, I really wanted to address that spirit of women being in leadership roles. Well, the question is, how come they didn't go to war? And how come they weren't allowed in the holy places then, if they were so equal to men? That's madness. That's madness. And if you call yourself a priest, if you call yourself a leader, you have to teach the truth. That's it. Otherwise, you're not a priest. You're not a leader, because you still fail to teach that one concept, that man is the head and women is the extension of a man. She's not to be in leadership position. Our ancestors fail over and over again for doing that. It's the Queen of Heaven worship. You know, even in this captivity, it's advised to have just one wife. Really, the best way is no wife. That's the best way. You know, but if a man has more than one woman, I can't fault him for that. Our ancestors did it. It ain't no law against it. The scriptures tell you if a man have 2 wives in the law. Scripture tell you if you conquer a nation and you want to take a woman as a concubine. That's just speaking the truth. That's actually getting your balls back and just speaking the truth, knowing you're going to ruffle some feathers of other simps and women, right? But it takes the courage to say, look, this is the truth. This is what it is. And we go through the ups and downs as men, but then you bounce back. Okay, I got weak for a minute, but now I'm bouncing back. This is the truth. When you allow that spirit to dictate your doctrine, you become in danger of adding and taking away from the word of the Lord. And you're in danger of elevating the woman above the man, which means you're in danger of repeating the very same sins that our forefathers committed, because they refused as well to do what was necessary. I'll read this again. Most High speaking. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Talking, and as the definition they added says what? Masculinity. Okay? Be a man. Speak that which is right. That's all you have in this world anyway, is your word, your purpose. You have to stand on your 2 feet. Okay? Tell the truth for what it is. Don't matter who it is. You don't change the doctrine and the words of the Lord just to appease the creature that was created for the man. You can't do that. It's not going to work out for you. So just speak the truth, man. Shalom.